What's going on, everyone? Vampyr Gaming here, and before we begin, if you can do me a favor, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing for more videos like this, but then also you can click that link right there in the YouTube video description. I'll also go ahead and put in the comment section, TCGPlayer is having a sale right here, which is going to lead to massive buyouts. So I've already uploaded this morning, but I wanted to get this out because this day is always, even this weekend, is usually incredibly hectic on the market. And if there are cards you're looking to buy, I would buy them right at the start. The site usually crashes, or I would pick them up today and just say, you know what, the 10% isn't worth it. We've seen insane buyouts every single time. So I made this video. If you're going to participate, please just click the link in the YouTube video description or down there in the comments. It helps me out a ton. I'll earn a small percentage on the sales, the purchases that you make. And let's jump in. So first off is Bartholomew Kuma. Kuma, of course, coming down. Now, of course, PRB 03 will probably have this. So if you're not like an avid yellow player, you may not need it, but he has come down an insane amount in price and is a great card to pick up if you are an avid yellow player. We, of course, an EBO3, which releases in February for us here in the States, or in just the West in general. This card kind of gets like replaced by that in some instances, but this, of course, still a good card in the meantime. And then we're going to, of course, have the new Egghead Luffy before we get EBO3. So do what you will, but if you have your eyes on this, I imagine this price will go up. May not, which would be great, but again, people kind of just target random things, and there's a decent amount listed, which is really good. Now let's talk about this ace. You guys are all... I'm going to make a separate video talking about why this price doesn't make sense, but this price doesn't make sense. Did I buy one? Yes. Yes, I did. Do I think I'll regret it? Absolutely. Am I okay with that? Also, yeah. But I didn't want to play any games with it. But we've seen this before. And in EB02, the Vegapunk leader was never corrected. And it came down in price a lot over time. So, do with that what we can. And we'll continue on. But I think this is incredibly over-exaggerated, especially when you compare it to the other ones, and you have Money D. Luffy. So then let's talk about Ace. So there is a new Egghead Luffy. These, I've kind of talked about it a bit. There is, of course, the reprint as well, which is mildly cheaper, so you should look at the reprint. But there are two versions of the Portgas D Ace, which do have differences. That being said, the Portgas D Ace, I think this could be a great buy for the loot. You have a 6 life leader. Every copy of this makes it a 7, makes it an 8, makes it a 9, makes it a 10. You just play it a 10 life leader. And his ability doesn't go live until 2, so you go 2, you go 1. So you can race down the 2, and then you just kind of hover there in your own trigger. I'm going to play bodies and just generate value kind of way. 6 life also means more opportunities for triggers, higher trigger probabilities, which just really leads the deck. And this just kind of helps you keep that train going. So it'll be interesting to see what the rest of the support is. But this is bar for bar always been one of the better yellow cards. Because one, you can just play it. It's going to replace itself no matter where you are in the game. It's going to heal you. And then it has the opportunity to gain Rush. It only gains Rush if you have 2 or less. So you could play this at 4 life. Go back up to 5. And now you established a threat. So I like this, especially in like a taller kind of meta, which is kind of where we're still leaning. Really early OP14. Don't want to give too much, but we will. In today's video, we're going to talk about OP14. We'll talk about the new structure deck and many other things. So Charlotte Katakuri is potentially another card. So Katakuri is one of the better removals. There is a reprint that is more affordable, more economic. If you don't have a playset, this was reprinted in PRB01, so it's been quite some time. You know, people do worry about this thing called a block number. Me personally, PRB02 was added to the block list. The only reason that they announced, and I will continue to echo this for the lifetime until we get to April, and I'm either incredibly right or incredibly wrong. The only reason that they announced the block list was one, PRB01 did incredibly poor in Japan. I think you can still buy PRB01 in Japan for MSRP. That's how poorly it performed, whereas you literally have to pay like $500 a box in America. So that's the difference. So they changed PRB2, but nobody was going to buy PRB2 because half of the product was block 1. Why would I buy this if it's going to rotate? Was all of what Japan was saying. It's like, well, all of it's updated. Everything that's in it is block 3, block 4, whatever block it is. I think it's block 4, but it might be block 3. It's probably block 3. And they were like, oh, it's all updated. And they're like, great. So now they can sell their product. Because nobody was going to buy it. And just on the grounds nobody was going to buy it was the only reason they did it. They said they didn't plan to announce anything until March-ish. Like, you know, right before we get to global release. So if it's going to be updated, it'll be then. But there's still an expanded format, and even worse, if these cards are good in the expanded format, which means that, you know, there are no block numbers, respectfully. All block numbers are legal. It means they have no need to reprint it, and if this card becomes very popular in that format, it can also become money. So that's a whole nother conversation. But I think Katakuri, the reprint, I believe, is still around $5. You get a play set for $20. Less than a tank of gas. Hard to say no to that, but it is a very strong removal. There aren't really any 8s. The Mihawk is a 9, but you got to remember the new Shanks is a 7, so this will remove new Shanks for yellow. So this card could have prevalence in the list. Then, of course, Linlin, so you're going first. Every card that you can play that gives you an extra life is an extra life. You have Nami on 5, which makes them add a life. You can play this. They either trash a life, or you can add 1 card to the top of your life. This one, there is no block saving. This card hasn't been reprinted, so this should phase out April, unless if they reprint it. But this card will have a period where it could be played between OP14, EBO2, and OP15. Do with that what you will, but your opponent chooses, you know, they trash a life or you gain a life, so you have the potential they lose a life and then you gain value, or you gain a life and you gain value. Incredible. So I think there is potential. Just because of the fact that what this deck is going to do. You want to put pressure on your opponents. Now, really quick, we're going to interrupt your daily scheduled program to kind of tell you about my website, VampTCG.com. So we are having a Black Friday sale. Incredibly happy to be able to offer this. Just really trying to, so if you pick up any of the VampTCG sleeves, you pick up any of these, you can pick up to 6 leader cases for $8 a piece. If you want a bunch of black ones, you can. If you want to mix, you can absolutely mix and match. I'm just looking to make some more room. We, of course, have the Vampyr Gaming, that's me, branded ones, and I'm working on getting them in the other colors. I'm just looking to make some space for once those come in. So incredibly excited. Huge things. I couldn't have done it without each and every one of you, so I'm so thankful this thing. So I appreciate you all, and let's go ahead and jump right back in. So this is another card that everybody is talking about. This is OP14 Mihawk. They are playing Bepo. They get to play Bepo, but they get Don back, so then they can go 7k leader and have this. They're like a Newgate, you know? So they can get out of attacks for 1 card. They're going to have 8 Don rested because they're paying 10, getting 3 back. They're going to rest 1. Boom, that's already 8 Don, you know? So Mihawk is still to be tried and tested, but he gatekeeps Emu, which brings a lot of desire to him. I think this is a little high. I do have quite a good amount of these personally, and I know Europe does as well, so I'm sure that they're making their way from Europe here as we speak. But if you have these, great time to sell it. But you got to remember, Paradise Waterfall too, though. Paradise Waterfall, I think, went up to $25, and it didn't even see that much play. It is an earlier best selection set, so that really helps as well. On the topic of all these cards that kind of don't make sense, we've got Arlong, the GOAT. This also doesn't make very much sense to me. There's a lot of speculation for this in OP14 Jinbei. I personally am not a fan. I'm a fan of this price, though. I'm getting rid of a few, I think, this weekend at this price. Might even try to put them on, like, TCG player, because I'm sure people are going to purchase this during the sale. There's going to be a lot of volume. If you have cards to sell and you're a TCG player seller, make sure you have your listings, because a lot of action happens on this sprint of days, and that's something, you know, it's going to be incredibly volatile on these prices. Be sure to check eBay. Don't just use one source during this time. Buyouts are going to happen. It happens every single year, I promise you. Now, on the topic of Mihawk, this is the only like viable searcher. I mentioned this card before. It's getting a little pricey. Block 1, so it is going to rotate out. This card hasn't been reprinted, but should this card find some relevance, because you do have that trigger, which lets you search for free, it's really good. But it also, of course, allows you to search East Blue, which pretty much allows you to search any Mihawk card you could desire. Just kind of something to keep your eyes on. Maybe you find it in your bulk, set them aside. If you're just riffling through it one day looking for some cards, set it aside, be like, okay, and then you're going to be like, wow, I have so much money, thank you. Or it'll be just like, okay, this card rotated out, no big deal. But again, expanded format. There's going to be 2 formats come April. Now, Shanks. So it's actually a really good price. Really good price. Some of the higher end stuff is a great opportunity to pick up. I like this at $600. You, of course, have to pay tax. If you're not paying tax, I mean, this at $600, I think all day. It's just a no-brainer. I think the card is gorgeous. It reminds me of like a Vampyr-esque style as well. This is on my list to pick up, but I have spent every single dollar that I have on the Ace cards. All the money from VampTCG has gone back into it, so that's all you guys. But if you click the link in the video description or in the comments section, that's all me. And I'll use that to pick up cards for decks and whatnot. And I would love to pick one of these up. So if you click that, it'll help me just get a little bit closer. Especially if you plan on buying one. But yeah, $675. I know a lot of game stores are also going to do ones. These might be a little bit less liquid. Like you see, there's not a ton of sales. And so they kind of like filter down. I'll also probably personally be eyeing some of the Spider-Man stuff. We might actually see a little Spider-Man action. But I'm a big fan. I like this card. Now, of course, there's this Shanks. So this Shanks is, I think this card is really cheap for what it is, especially because there are cards like Lim. This could be one of those cards that you pick up during this. Is this card going to be bought out? Probably not. Could you buy it out? Probably. Is it going to do anything? Maybe not. But this is one of those cards I really like just because it's a free 10-12. It doesn't see play in Mihawk because they're going Law Bepo, which we'll talk about next. But this is just kind of something on your radar. I mean, it's a super cheap, super rare, and it's really good. Like, Uda as a leader as well is very good. This is a bomb that you can search in Uda. Allows you to get your leader ability, which continually allows you to do so many things. I think Uda has so much potential just with all these cards. It's one of the things I want to make a video about. So let me know in the comments below if I should make a video about Uda. Now, Law Bepo. So this was actually a card I bought not too long ago, literally right here, because I was like, this card is just textbook printed as a good card. And Law Mihawk is playing it. They can play this. They can rest it because your opponent's never going to go into it, and then they're going to get 3 down back so they can leave it up for counter events. Or, of course, they can use the swing, but now they have a 7K leader, and they can apply pressure as needed. But then they, of course, get to establish this big bomb, and you're losing an attacker. And it doesn't become active. So it's not like it rests it and it doesn't become active. So then they can swing into it their next turn if they so desire. So much utility here. This in tangent with the Mihawk is incredibly oppressive because a Mihawk does a very similar thing. Now, Law Bepo has a little bit of ways to go. Uda is another 4 of super rare that we see in the decks. And if your LGS has Black Friday sales on the decks, could be a great opportunity to pick up a Bonney. I actually just left my local. I lost round 1 because I threw and then I left. And then I realized that they had these on sale for $10. I think it was actually less than $10 and I should have just picked them up. But yeah, check your stores. Pick your stores. It's worth it just for these, and you get a pack in it. You get a pack of OP11 in it. Free. And then, yeah. But I still think it could go up to like $8, just like Uda is. So, little bit of opportunity there. Again, incredibly early in the OP14 format, or even, you know, it could go higher. Depends on how much people want, you know, the other Bonney cards, right? Speaking of Bonney, so this is another Bonney. I had it all the way down. We can kind of leave it like this, so we can still keep that ad revenue. This card's crazy. But for those unfamiliar, if your leader has Egghead, which is the new Luffy, it gains Rush. Then your opponent adds 1 card from the top of their life card to their hand. So it's effectively a double attack because your opponent's going to take it. Or they're going to block it, and you still got to inflict a life. So it's almost like it has piercing or double attack in that kind of way. And then, of course, trigger if you have 1 or less life. Rest up to one of your opponent's characters with a 7 cost or less. This card has potential. We talked, you have the 5, you have the 7, you have the 9. You could have just non-stop hammer life. Like, Linlin, give me a card or take a card. Well, I'll play Bonney. Now you're taking a card. Nami, you took a card. So you potentially just trashed through your opponent's life. And they got no value, so... A lot of people are talking about this. I think it's fine. You do have an unblockable event, so you can put them to 0, but a 2-card combo that requires 2 turns is mildly inefficient, unless it's like Roger, because you can't lose and you play Roger and you get to turn a bunch of cards sideways unblockable. I digress. Card can be very good, especially because you can be really healthy when you play it, and it of course has Rush as well, which is very strong, and you have a 6/8 that also has character Rush, so you can do a lot of swings at bodies, play control, play whatever you need. Now this Nami, I posted this earlier, already getting bought up, quickly making its way to 10. This is one of those few cards that were not in PRB 02 that probably should have been. And because of that, we see this, of course, a new yellow deck, and then this being one of the strongest removal cards out there, and then the trigger as well. So again, we have 6 life, we have 6 opportunities to trigger this. I imagine we see something similar with Onami. Well, of course, bringing value to decks like Zeus, in the fact that Zeus gets to add a card, and so it's kind of like free, especially if we have these healing mechanisms. So, interesting to see how it all works out, but this is a card, if you don't have a playset, I don't even know that I have a playset of this, and I just might not ever. I mean, I don't see myself being a yellow player ever, so I just might have to say this card is cooked and wait for PRB03. Where's PRB? Where my PRB03 waiting room people at? Comment down below. And of course, so Edward Newgate is also potentially a card. It went up quite a bit. This is a card that could see a lot more sales just during this weekend because it is becoming more... I'm seeing 3 copies. I'm personally playing 3 copies. I know... I'm trying to think the ace lists I've seen. If we're going to the buff meta, right? Like, it feels like we're playing more just remove whatever Mihawk did for ace. I've seen 7 Dofi, I've seen 9 Mihawk, which is quite creative because if they're going second, they have to play it on 8, and you get to play 9 Mihawk and invalidate it. I've also seen Pop Shanks, which will... Law Bepo actually gets around Pop Shanks, which is also another great thing about that, but even in like the mirror, you could just completely remove this the turn that they play it and pass. So... interesting to see, but I think it's one of those cards that can see just because it has so much meta relevance right now, and of course Roger not having the promo for some time. Now this is a card that has historically been part of buyouts. It's already kind of expensive once again. I mean, you probably can't even add this one to the cart. Yeah, this one's probably broken too. Oh, this one is. So there are $24 ones. The 24 listing is real. TCGPlayer is also known to break right now, so you have these phantom listings. They just don't update. And I imagine it's so unfortunate because I imagine it's going to create such chaos during their Black Friday deal. And so do with that what you will. But this is a card that I personally think I'll be picking up, the Luffy. So, of course, green, purple, getting a lot of just generic support, and the leader having some of the coolest abilities. This also just being bar for bar an incredible purple card. If you have to have a multicolor leader, but being able to double swing and present lethal, and also just the opportunity to play this and have a 6/7 rusher. I think there's a lot good in this card. We see like Bentham continually going up, and we see this continually going down. This isn't even the reprinted version. The reprint might even be slightly cheaper. I think I paid $40 a pop and never even played this deck, so go me. But I think this is one of those cards you should keep your eyes on for sure. And then lastly, but not, yeah, just lastly, check out VampTCG.com. You know, get whatever you would like. yellow. With any sleeve, you'll get these $8. Great deal. But we've got Vegapunk. This card, I think, is the most underrated. You got to remember, I think this card has flown under the radar for a very long time. And I could just absolutely be wrong. So EBO3 is like confirmed Crisis on Egghead. You would think you're going to get some scientists. They should be yellow. There's a yellow Luffy that these will see support. I think this card's a sleeper because it gets to play things out for free, and it's got a great trigger. It's got blocker, so you play this, you establish another threat, and you get a blocker for free. I think this card has a lot of potential, especially in like Vegapunk. We don't know if there's going to be a new Vegapunk leader. I don't even know if there is going to be a leader top of mind. But again, if you're going to pick up any of these singles, use the link down below, and be sure to subscribe if you found this content of value. Thank you so much for watching.